First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Oh, it's Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman live on Twitch and on YouTube. Apparently we're not supposed to be doing that.
Yes, unfortunately this will be the last time we're going live on YouTube. For the time being. Twitch is working out a bit better for us, so we're going to stick with Twitch. That doesn't mean you won't be able to watch these. They'll just be going up 24 hours later. So take this opportunity to join Twitch. It's free. It'll take like a minute to sign up, and you can watch it every week.
It's free. That's what matters to me, anyways. I've now dabbled in the world of Twitch because there's so many different things that go on in it, and like I always just had this thing that it was video games.
Yes,
like there's people playing Pokemon cards, doing puzzles. It's wild. So we will be still live on Twitch, and you can watch and view and stuff like that. But we're live on YouTube as well.
We are indeed, and Frank is saying to steal a Pollock line, join Twitch, bitch.
Join Twitch, bitch.
Has Pollock said that?
I don't know.
I've not heard that. But yes, it's Wednesday night. We are here to talk all about NXT. Live on the USA Network. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I loved War Games.
Yeah.
Loved War Games.
Yeah.
Tonight, I don't know. I'm kind of in a bit of a bad mood, to be honest. Not gonna lie.
Well, let me tweet this out and then we'll run with this.
Absolutely,
Let's get that out. Let me give it old RT. How are we looking? Where's Eric Marcotte? Has he said we are okay?
Where's Eric?
Yeah,
Eric said, "Fuck YouTube." I'm sorry, YouTube.
Yeah, sorry.
The Marcotte has spoken.
Wow, that's mean.
Yeah. Well,
what is YouTube?
How we doing? How we looking? How we sounding? And yes, you've all been warned this time. Any AEW spoilers? You're done. You're out of here.
Off with your head.
Because we're your NXT friends. Friends. Who have we got in the room tonight? Yes, Chris Elliott, one of our mods. No spoilers, or you get the banhammer. We've obviously got See No Evil. We've got Eric Marcotte in the room, says we're good. LMAO. We've got Fire Frank up next, says we sound good. Hi, Kev. He says we sound good. Darkstar calling the mods the upNXT cops. Not Jobber Cops.
Jobber Cops?
Not Jobber Cops. Banner Cops.
Banner Cops.
Banner Cops. Who else have we got in here tonight?
We got people on the YouTubes. We got people.
Who's in the YouTube
Twitch
room right now?
The YouTube's quiet because we just shat on it.
Quiet because we just shat on them. We're sorry, YouTube.
I just think nobody watches NXT anymore.
Maybe.
Let's get into it.
We are ready to go. Awesome. Let's do it.
Fuck it. Hey, if you are tuning in now, thank you. The podcast version, of course, wherever you find your podcasts. But thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. All right, here we go.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, youtube.com/upNXT, and Davie. Where else can they find us?
Twitch.com/, twitch.tv /upNXT podcast.
Yes.
This will be the last week we are going live on YouTube. Apparently it's naughty and we're not meant to be doing both. So we are going to be shifting across to Twitch. But that doesn't mean if you're people that catch up the next day, the file will be going on YouTube the next day. Apparently we just can't simulcast. So we're being naughty one more time to let you all know. But we've made the jump to Twitch.
Yeah, we're twitching, bitch. Yeah. We're twitching, we're bitching. Twitch.tv/upNXT, @upNXT podcast, Instagram and Twitter to follow along with all the stuff we do. So many things we do. If you're listening to us right now, thank you for supporting and listening. But if you want to see more of us, the actual video version, like you said, can be on the YouTube, as well as like we just did Takeover War Games. The video's up there with time codes of all our reactions from the watch along as well. So join us for watch alongs as well. And twitch.tv/upNXT, because sometimes we game and stuff. I finally figured out how to cheat this. Again, Twitch doesn't like when there's more than one thing going on. So I found some ways to try to cheat the system as I'm saying it live on a Twitch stream, which they could hear and be like, no, you're not allowed to do that. So tune in for that random gaming and stuff like that if you're into that kind of thing. And yeah, it's War Games has come and passed. The War
Games was fantastic. One of my favorite shows of the year.
You know what happens after the war? Everyone goes home, kisses, the war is over.
Yeah, and produces whatever that was tonight. Sorry. I think we're going to be negative tonight.
No.
Apologize.
No, not
in
again.
advance. Yeah, NXT kind of put me in a bad mood tonight. But let's not get into that right now. Let's try and be in a bit of a better mood.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, look,
What should we do? Housekeeping? Some plugs first? Or?
Well, back when it wasn't a 2-hour live show on USA, when they just bulk tape things for NXT, they would do a takeover, and then they'd air what is basically the NXT Hangover, which is what we would do. Yeah. So I guess this is the return of the Hangover, because this is exactly what it felt like tonight. Yeah, War Games post-show out wherever you find your podcasts and stuff. But tonight was not really... I can't even tell you what happened. And we just watched it. We're literally on the air right after this just ended. So it's... I know we've been negative leading into War Games, and then we said War Games is great, but of course takeovers are great. And then we're back in this shuffle. But yeah, we'll get into some plugs. I mean, we're doing another watch along for Triple Mania.
Yes.
This Saturday. We gave you the links, all the links at upNXT Podcast Twitter, because we'll be tweeting about all the links and stuff on Twitch. We're going to be watching and doing a show for Triple Mania, Triple A, Kenny Omega versus Laredo Kid, or Lorenzo Kid as he calls him.
Yep.
And that's kind of the talk of the town, because this guy, Kenny Omega, seems to be popping up everywhere.
Yeah, he wants to collect some titles, which is a great segue to plug the show I did yesterday with Andrew Thompson. We did a very rare Impact review, so if you haven't listened to that, check that out. We go into Impact, AEW. We kind of talk about NXT and AEW for quite a bit as well at the end there. Really great chat with Andrew. Great guy. Really, insightful chat, I thought. And
it was good. I listened to the first bit of it. I heard you guys talking about like what was going on, and I feel like a lot of people tuned into this thing.
Well, you heard like the Twitch numbers.
I tuned
yesterday.
in at the very end to see the Kenny thing because I wasn't watching a full Impact show. And it was like up 52K on Twitch, so I'm super happy for those guys. Like, it's crazy, but Kenny Omega clearly is a draw. We do upNXT every Thursday, patreon.com/upNXT, and we did a special on Winter is Coming last week, which we thought was pretty good with the whole finish with the screwy, the what is it, the Jacksonville screw job?
Yes.
It's interesting. And then he shows up on Impact. Should Don Callis and Kenny Omega just always be a thing?
I think they are. I think that's what it seems like it's going to be moving forward. I thought Callis on Impact yesterday, his promo was fantastic, as was Kenny's, but I think they complement each other. I said on the Impact review, it reminds me more of Heyman and Punk than Heyman and Brock. You know, like just that relationship where Kenny can talk on his own, but it's just feeding off each other and that friendship and chemistry they had. I thought they were fantastic. Great segment on Impact, as was the Tony Schiavone segment. I thought was great as well.
Very interesting that they couldn't get that door open to New Japan, so they're opening doors everywhere else.
Yeah,
you know, that's exactly. There's so much Kenny Omega. Again, Triple Mania. He's in the probably not the main event, but one of the titles are on the line there. So it's just interesting. This AEW like reaching out, branching out everywhere, grasping everything, because like why not? We're all stuck inside still, and it's like, well, might as well put on some content. And I just think it's a pretty creative way. And me of all people, fuck that owl. But like, hey, if it works, it works. It helps everybody involved, realistically. Like anyone in Impact, it helps. Maybe not Rich Swann, because he was not allowed to go talk to the title champion.
Name's not on the list.
Yeah, sorry.
Name's not on the list.
Clearly a match we're getting in the new year. I see a lot of Impact versus AEW type things happening in the new year, I think.
I think so as well. And like I kind of I watch Impact every week, and they've got some really great talent there that I want to see succeed. And that place has changed ownership and whatever so many times. It's still there. It's like a cockroach. It just survives.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to see everyone succeed, you know? Like, if we can end up getting a better promotion out of this as well, that's only good for wrestling. John Cena, I believe, will be covering the Impact show this weekend on the Post Wrestling site, so check that out. Main event of Chris Bay versus Rich Swann, I think will actually be pretty fantastic. Big fan of Chris Bay, and I wonder if any more seeds will be planted in this crossover storyline that's going on.
I think so. I think they'll continue it for the next little while. Of course, I think the tag teams are what really people are interested, considering AEW has all the good tag teams. You got the North and Impact, though. I think that's a team that everyone kind of... I see Ethan Page going to... good Hamilton boy. Going over to AEW and maybe becoming a bigger star than he is right now. I think he's in a small pond, and he can swim elsewhere.
They were teasing a breakup as well of the North. So
sign them both. Both of those guys are...
I think they're both fantastic, and I think they both have potential as singles stars.
It's crazy. Josh Alexander, I swear I went to like his retirement at an indie show once,
Oh, yeah?
and then he came back. He did have injuries before, but he came back, and to see him finally get somewhere on TV and stuff is pretty incredible. And same goes for all ego Ethan Page. It's interesting when you see these guys kind of finally get a chance to go for something.
I mean,
so.
we follow NXT, so we're used to seeing those people who you're waiting for that breakout moment, and suddenly everything starts clicking into place.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that's the case with those guys. But if we're talking about crossovers, we're geeky here at upNXT. There's a certain Spider-Man crossover event happening. Are you ready to talk about this?
I got 2 words for you. Alfred Molina.
Yeah. This sounds crazy. Obviously, the rumors of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being involved, that's been circulating for a while.
Right.
It seems like it's happening. You then had the confirmation of Jamie Foxx being in the new Tom Holland Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
Obviously, he played Electro. We saw J.K. Simmons at the end of the last Spider-Man film, and now they're talking about Emma Stone, Kirsten Dunst, talking about what's his name, Charlie, his name, who played Daredevil in the Netflix show, which is super interesting because they haven't married those two worlds together
canceled that
at
show.
all. So that is super interesting. I think there's that worry from a lot of people. I've heard this from some of my friends.
I know what the worry is. You're worried they won't put Topher Grace in it. That's what you're worried about.
Maybe. But the whole thing with Spider-Man 3, the original Spider-Man 3, was kind of too much going on, too many characters, and people are going, oh, is that going to happen this time? I don't care. This is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right? We're seeing... It worked in the animated one, all those different Spider-Men coming together. We do have films leading into this. We do have Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. We do have the Tobey Maguire trilogy. Even if it's a mess, I kind of don't care. I just want to see it.
I just can't see how it is going to be. It's going to be a beautiful mess, if anything, because
that's kind of what I mean.
It's so much things going on in it. There's talks of the vampire guy, Jared Leto, Morbius. He's being brought in because his movie's been shelved since pandemic.
Right.
It's supposed to be out by now already. Don't know how I feel about that trailer. It looks okay. Like, I want to watch it, but I really didn't like Venom. I thought that was just such a stupid movie. As a guy who as a kid read all the Spider-Man comics, and for them to just finally make a movie about Venom and ignore everything, I was like, really? I just hope that isn't the thing that they're crossing over, but it seems like it is.
You know what, though? If this is the way you're doing it, because the whole thing with the Spider-Verse is the stories get told differently in each universe.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't mind if you do bring...
It's
Tom
true.
Hardy's a great actor. He's so charismatic.
Yeah.
And I think when I saw Venom, I did enjoy it, but when I kind of turned that fanboy thing off in my head and just kind of watched it as, all right, this is a standalone film, and try not to think about all the comics beforehand, I found it quite enjoyable. And I think if you can use that as like a different universe link, it could work.
It's weird because Michael Keaton's going to be in this movie as the Vulture.
Yes.
And he's also being in the Batman multiverse movie
In the
as
Flash,
Batman. So, like, isn't that crazy? The dude's making double the checks.
It's nuts. I'm super excited. I think, you know what? I kind of trust Marvel Studios. Even their worst film in the MCU isn't a car crash, you know?
Right.
Like, I'm thinking of kind of Iron Man 3, Captain Marvel, Thor 2.
Does Ghost Rider count? No, probably not.
But they're not...
He should show up.
They're not terrible films, even the worst MCU films.
Right.
Hell, they managed to make Guardians of the Galaxy work. So I kind of trust it. And it's going to do an incredible number at the box office. If box offices are a thing.
Coming soon to HBO
released.
Max.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3. I think it's pretty great. I've been playing the Marvel Spider-Man on PlayStation, and like Spider-Man has all these characters and side stories that like should be put into movies. Like watching that game now, I know I'm late and the Miles one is out, which is also incredible, but like the fact that there's like so many different alleys and avenues they could put on major screen. I think I went into the last Spider-Man movie with Mysterio and Jake Gyllenhaal thinking it was there's no way they can make this as good as the last time they made the Spider-Man, the first one with Tom Holland. And then it blew me away. I was like, wow, how did they manage to make Mysterio work after all these years? So I think they're going to make a killer movie. I think there's no way they can't. Whether you're like a fan of the cartoon 90s Spider-Man, which is on Disney Plus and it's great, but like they go into the multiverse with like Madame Web. So it's clearly they're just using that with the multiverse storyline. And it's like there's all sorts of different spiders. So Alfred Molina is Doc Ock. Like he's going to show up, maybe join the Sinister Six. I don't know what the script of this movie, how many drugs you had to write this upcoming script.
And how much, I think, am I right in thinking that Doctor Strange is coming out first? So I imagine there being some kind of tie-in to set up.
He fucks timelines up.
It's Marvel, right? Even though it sounds like a lot going into one film, there are probably other films and TV shows where you can set up little nuggets and seeds going into it. I'm super excited. I'm glad to see like both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire get another shot at it. I know I've mentioned before about Andrew Garfield trained at my school, and the day before he flew out to LA to start filming.
Not New York?
No, LA, I believe. He had a sit down with us and chatted for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And this guy loves Spider-Man and had all these great ideas and stuff. And so did Mark Webb, the director. And then
his name was
Webb. But then the studio gets involved and basically became a thing that they didn't really want. It wasn't the film they wanted either. So I think for someone like Andrew Garfield to get another shot at it, obviously Tobey Maguire, there was meant to be a number 4 coming out. And with Sam Raimi being the director of Doctor Strange, it's all tying up.
It's all
here.
coming back together.
I think it's pretty awesome.
You know Bruce Campbell's going to show up because he has to, because it's Sam Raimi's involved somehow. Yeah. There's all sorts of different. I mean, who's going to play Miles? Are we going to have Childish Gambino, Donald Glover? Are we finally getting that?
Old. No, he's already played his uncle.
He's the Prowler.
He's played his uncle.
So the Prowler's going to be in this movie too.
Maybe.
It's going to be pretty wild, I think. I'm pretty excited to all the talks about it. You keep seeing every day. It's like Daredevil's added. This guy's added. Gwen Stacy's back. It's like, whoa, what are they doing with this movie? I'm assuming most of them are like small cameos and stuff, but like there's got to be reasons why. So I think it's great. Sorry, who's like behind this? Is it Sam Raimi who's like in charge of this movie?
No, Sam Raimi's doing the Doctor Strange one. This is John Watts directing this.
Because I'm kind of
who directed the other ones? Yeah, the other Spider-Man.
I'm kind of over the superhero like genre. I think it's been beaten to death, especially once Endgame happened. Like, it's okay. Can we move? Like, I figure we'd move on, and instead it's like Disney's just greenlit like even more shows and stuff.
I've got no problem. It's down to the audience to move on. It's if there's an appetite for it, watch it. There's thousands of other movies that aren't superhero that you can go out and watch.
Because like Jon Favreau is the guy that like. He's in the he's gonna be in the Spider-Man movie as is it Happy he plays, and like he's been tied with the Marvel. He helped like save that one, create that one. He helped create like the whole Marvel MCU type thing, and then right now he's saved Star Wars. Like how does this guy? Jon Favreau is amazing. Watch swingers, watch Chef, because I can't. I know we're gonna do a wrap up of the Mandalorian season 2, but without getting into it too deep, like, just crazy that this is what Star Wars could have been like for so long, but instead we're talking about politics and midichlorians and all sorts of shit, and now it's a fucking Western with shootouts and crazy effects on a show I get when I subscribe to a service. It's just, it's so crazy, like, that this is the guy. Out of all the people, I wouldn't have thought that Jon Favreau was the guy to create such a masterpiece of a show.
It makes me more excited for these Marvel TV shows as well. I think serialized drama is, you can tell so much more story in it, right? We were saying off air the other day with these Mandalorian episodes, where one of these episodes might be a 10-15 minute set piece in the film that just breezes by it, whereas you spend 30-40 minutes on it and it just fleshes out the universe and these characters.
It's crazy.
It's been so entertaining.
I've been watching that, and I know time ago, like when the pandemic started, I started a show I never watched, The Sopranos, and I'm on the final season. I'm on season 6 of Sopranos, and like this is when like it's like picking up. They're picking off everyone. It's picking up full steam. It's getting crazy.
Is this where I have to go to the Twitch room? No spoilers for The Sopranos, or you'll get booted as well.
I know they play Journey at the end. Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. It's just like I'm not much of a TV person, so like to finally it's like a slow burn is The Sopranos, and finally like towards the end, shit just hits the fan. So I've been really enjoying that watching lately. But I will say, like, the Mando is something I was like, it's Mando's back and cool, but to finally like to see it where it is, I'm like, it's actually making me want to wait to I like the streaming services making you wait. I don't like just dropping it out.
It's how I used to enjoy watching TV. It gives you a chance to theorize and talk about it. I think now you have Stranger Things will come out and it'll be dumped.
Yeah.
And people will watch it in a day and you'll talk about it that week and then over. You'll move on and there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have to wait every week, what do you think that thing is? What do you think's going to happen to this guy? Where is that person going? It's so much more interesting and enjoyable for me, at least.
I think you shouldn't be just dumping a show out. Like, I think you should be able to. You should have to wait you
get more value out of it as well. Think when Mandalorian came out, sure, Disney had the entire back catalogue.
Yeah.
But think the WWE Network. That back catalogue is awesome. But how often do you actually go back and watch? I mean, we do for our shows, but the everyday person, how much do you actually go back and watch? Whereas if they were to just dump Mandalorian on day one, the whole thing, people would have watched it, got their 7-day free trial, and unsubscribed. Whereas it forces you, I've got to wait till next week.
Yeah,
I've
got to wait till
next
Friday.
week. It's smart, I think.
And I swear it'll be the last time I mention Disney Plus, but you know what else they have on there? It's technically not a Disney movie, but they clearly bought the rights to it because they're like, we know this is every December we're getting the check. It leads to a Twitter question I put out today. I never knew I could make people so divided. Listen closely. Home Alone or Home Alone 2? That's a tough one.
It's got to be Home Alone 3 for me.
Not 4?
More baddies means a better film.
The third
I've not seen the fourth one. I did kind of enjoy the third one.
When I was a kid.
When he gets his weenie trapped in the toilet. You know?
Mike
jumps in the swimming pool.
It's Max Keeble, the little kid. I asked my Twitter universe at the Braden, and I said Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1, right? And people, I don't think I've seen my timeline more divided. They're more divided than the U.S. was before the election. They are divided, and I need answers. And
it's Home Alone 1. Home Alone 1's the best one.
I just watched them both, and I'm watching, and I'm like, this the first one, obviously, like no doubt. And then I think the second one has more laughs, but realistically, the first one is a better movie.
The first one's the better movie. The second one gets a lot more cartoony.
It's
with
funny.
Some of the
Tim Curry, Rob Schneider.
The electrocution, you see like his skeleton at one point, I think, as he's getting electrocuted. Like, it gets a lot more ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's still a really funny movie.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a tough one. It's a hard-hitting question. I mean, I got to get more in the holiday. The holidays are going to suck this year, so Christmas movies aren't really my bag, but Home Alone, Joe Pesci, I can watch all the time, but I need some. We're gonna be doing Krampus next week on the Patreon, which I don't think I've seen in full. It's from 2015, so we're gonna be talking about that one. But I need some some good. I watched Jingle All the Way the other day and just got really sad because I miss Phil Hartman. But I need some good content Christmas movies, but I don't think they exist.
I don't think that's really a thing. You just ask John. John Pollock has some terrible suggestions for you.
Oh yeah, I know how he feels about Home Alone 1 or 2, and I don't want to say it because I'll make him reply on Twitter or here.
He doesn't like him?
Oh no, he likes them, but you wouldn't guess which one he likes more than the other.
2, I'm guessing.
I can't tell you.
Strange cat, that guy.
Yeah. I like Bad Santa, 8 Crazy Nights. There's some good ones, but maybe we'll watch some.
Well, with a little bit of a Culkin tie-in, we just recorded a show just earlier today that's going to drop on Sunday. It's our new episode of Up Yours, where we're joined by Kevin Hudson from Geekcentric to talk all about Scott Pilgrim versus the World from 2010, starring Michael Cera, but more importantly, starring Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, your favorite.
My favorite. And Roman Roy himself.
The cast of that movie's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
10-year anniversary of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's filmed in our hometown here, Toronto. It's literally filmed outside near our house, like actually right outside where we live. And it's pretty interesting looking at that. Anna Kendrick not playing with plastic cups. Mm-hmm. Way before that, I would imagine. Like
a few years before.
Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, she's in it. She's just as an evil X.
Aubrey Plaza,
Captain America,
Chris Evans. That's the one.
Yeah.
They're both handsome.
So
Chris's. Come on.
That's one of our shows. Up Yours, World Champ patrons. If you're crazy enough to be a World Champ, you get to eventually come on, pick something for us to review, and join us and chat all about it. So your boy Kev picked this movie. He put it to a vote between Social Network and Scott Pilgrim. I like both movies, but I think this one is a more interesting, more fun review. So that's coming out this week for all North American and World Champs. But it's not the only show we have this week.
No, we've obviously got our upNXT review of AEW Dynamite tomorrow, and then on Friday, brand new episode of Best Match Ever, where we'll be talking about all the best matches in the history of Starrcade.
Yeah, woo! We're going to be talking about Ric Flair, your favorite wrestler, Harley Race, Magnum TA, Tully Blanchard. There's some
Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio.
So that's the one where we review and kind of rate, give our star ratings, and then pick which Starrcade match is the best. Each of us give our picks there. So that's always a fun show. We nerd out about the wrestling. That's where the WWE Network comes in handy, where you get to go back and watch.
When it works. When it works.
Unlike our TakeOver mishap that kept happening. But as well as upNXT every Thursday, where we will definitely be talking about Kenny Omega. I know I mentioned the word Endgame just earlier. I saw a post on Reddit, and I'm sorry if I'm just stealing this from this guy, but this guy put out this thread, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow on upNXT, and I'm just going to leave it with the question: is Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi wrestling's Endgame? We'll talk about it.
Okay,
on
all
our
right.
AEW show. So we do all these things, including we just did Catwoman. What else did we do last week? I feel like it was time ago.
We did What's Next, where we talked a lot about Filet-O-Fish.
We got a lot of messages about food talk.
Yeah. People
like when we talk about Filet-O-Fish and Junior Chickens and stuff. I made some killer food this week. I made... I didn't make it today, but I made okonomiyaki, which is like this Japanese kind of street food type thing, and I've mastered it, and I feel like so proud that like I can cook something that's like when I learned how to make sushi, I was like, wow, I know how to make my favorite stuff. It's great. But when you finally like master something that like you want to make something to make yourself feel good. I can do it now, and it's like this thing that's over me. Today you're in this veggie kick lately.
Yeah,
is it a veggie or vegan kick? It's
not vegan. No, I had Parmesan.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I've been about 11 days now. No alcohol and no meat.
Yeah. So how you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, you probably feel
been working
alive.
out a lot. I've dropped a few lbs. I've saved a few pounds as well.
There you go.
Or dollars. And
I have no problem with eating vegetarian.
It's so much easier now. I'm just at home because I really enjoy cooking. So for me, like. It's not to say that meat is unhealthy, but I think you can easily lean towards more unhealthy food. And I think takeout-wise, I'm ordering takeout a lot less because I'm cooking. Normally, I'd be working in a bar or a restaurant where it's mainly a lot of fried food and the salads aren't particularly inspiring. So It's challenged me to make food that I enjoy eating and doesn't have any
That's
meat
what I
in
mean,
it. And
yeah.
it's better for the world as well. So I'm not saying this is going to be a permanent thing, but right now I'm not really struggling. I can't say I'm going, oh, really need a burger right now or whatever. Doing pretty well. I think it would be a lot harder if I was going to work every day on top of it.
It is. Once you have a schedule where you don't have a schedule, like you can make your own schedule.
Yeah,
then
I just spend a few hours of the day cooking something awesome.
Yeah.
And had some great things. And
well,
made a curry yesterday.
Yeah.
I've been having stir fries.
I don't think I've had meat this in the past like 5 days. I know.
Really?
Yeah. Not just so happens, but like I feel like the same way. Like I definitely could not skip out. I couldn't do the whole vegan thing. That thing is tough.
Cheese is hard. Cheese is hard
Oh
to
yeah,
avoid.
you love your cheese.
I made a veggie pizza the other day.
Yeah.
With a cauliflower bread, so I made it gluten free as well.
Yeah. Oh.
And it was pretty good. It was hard, and I realized I kind of ate into it too quickly because you need to let it cool down for the base to like harden. But when I went back for like another slice, it was this is good now.
More proper.
But vegan cheese just doesn't really cut it.
I'm sorry. Tofu? Get out of here. I'd rather just eat full-on veggies.
I've been having tempeh, which isn't bad. I don't mind tofu. It's got to be firm. It's about texture for me. And if you're mixing it in, like if you're making a curry or whatever, like you've got so much other stuff in there anyway. The ground beef I got, like the fake ground beef, is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like that's great because like you're making a bolognese or a chili or whatever. You're packing it with so much veg and stuff anyway. It's more of a texture thing than flavor.
Because today I made it was cauliflower, zucchini based, but with all sorts of other veggies that I like roasted and kept in the oven all day, and then like kind of turned into a sauce that I made with Parmesan and stuff. But it didn't have meat, and it's fine.
Yeah,
like, you don't need to have meat and everything. And a nice steak is like perfect for me. But like I feel like it's not
I made
hard.
a killer steak just before I started.
Right before?
It was incredible. It was one of the best steaks I've ever cooked.
So you're gonna have to.
But I'm probably gonna do this up until Christmas. Have a
wild out.
Enjoy my Christmas
Yeah.
season as best as I can under the circumstances, and then probably January give it a rest again.
So we're gonna do a Christmas party. Me and you.
Sure, yeah, it's gonna be. I kind of just don't want to celebrate Christmas this year. I know that sounds miserable, but I just really don't want to do it.
We'll have a Christmas. We'll have a New Year's. We'll have a New Year's Evil, which we'll talk about.
I don't even think 2021's coming.
No.
I think it's just gonna go to December 32nd, 2020, and
It's okay
gonna
though,
be
because
miserable.
look, all these we're in Toronto, but Osheaga Music Festival Montreal, they're announcing a lineup for the summer.
Saw Foo Fighters, Cardi B, who else was it?
Post Malone.
Post Malone, let's go.
Every generation that has bad music taste. Sorry, I used to love Dave
Don't
Grohl.
like Foo Fighters?
Oh, they're overrated. Come on.
No, you're wrong.
I
You're
also-
wrong. I hear the shit you listen to. Come
I
on.
also think-
Foo Fighters are fantastic.
I think Dave Grohl is good. Like, they had really good music, but for the long period of like their newer stuff is just not good.
I don't know any of their new stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's a fantastic frontman.
I think he's good, and it's just strange. I don't think that concerts are happening. Like, I know that the vaccine is coming everywhere, and supposedly, shout out Pfizer.
Oh, if it's not coming here, I'm just flying home. Flying to the UK. Just jab me with that thing.
Yeah, twice. It has to be really cold.
Really cold. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Just jab me with it. If it kills me, so what?
Had a good run.
Had a good run for the first 30 years.
Yeah, this year.
The last year wasn't good.
Yeah.
It really wasn't good.
I don't know. Like, it's not going to just change things back to the way it was right away. So I feel like 2021 is still going to be a little rocky. A lot of walking. Just go for walks. That's what I find.
I've walked so much.
Isn't that the only thing you can do these days?
I walked 20 miles the other day.
Wow.
And then the next day I walked 14.
You sound like Forrest Gump.
yesterday I only walked 3 because I had a lot
walking.
of stuff to do. I've been making my resume, gonna get a job. I don't know what. Turns out I'm severely unqualified for anything.
You just put in your resume podcaster. Nxt podcaster.
Pretty much. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is.
Hey, no.
Don't get an acting degree, guys. Fuck.
Don't go
If it's
into-
gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Don't get an acting degree.
Don't go into media studies. broadcast journalism. Don't go into the arts.
Hey, that opens up more doors. An acting degree, you're going to be an actor.
You're forgetting you are now a published author.
I am a
because
published.
you write Post Wrestling's Impact Wrestling reports
Yep.
every Tuesday night, and then sometimes even podcast about it. So you're all
Should I
right.
just see if Impact's hiring?
They don't pay really well, dude. I can show you receipts.
Neither does the service industry right now.
Well, you can listen to you talk, and of course, all the extra shows we do where we get into random stuff. We're simply just filling time because this is.
I don't want
want
to talk about this
We
show.
really don't want to talk about NXT, and I know we've been hella negative on Up Next because leading into War Games, we didn't feel the magic of War Games, and then the day happened, and it was a great event. Like they put on a really good show. I must say, NXT War Games was fun. I think we both said. Did you say that your match of the night was the women's as well?
I think so.
Yeah, but you could easily have said that for the men's main event or the triple threat, like
Or
all the matches.
Thatcher,
Yeah,
Champa, just not the strap match, really, which even that wasn't bad. It just shouldn't have been on the show, in my opinion.
And I just feel like we're in this we're back right away. That after such a good show, after such a high, that we kind of just instantly fall back in line to the way it was. I know we'll be talking about AEW, but they've announced a schedule for the next month and so because they're announcing some specials, essentially some holiday specials, and NXT announced New Year's Evil, which is January 6th, so we will be doing a show for that. That's kind of their next big special, and it looks as if the title's going to be on the line. So all I know is our Twitch chat is mad at me for saying Dave Grohl's overrated. I think one person is, but then someone's mentioning that they want the vaccine so that we can all go to WrestleMania.
Sure.
Do you think that will happen?
I think WrestleMania is going to have a crowd.
Yeah.
I don't think the States are going to have the vaccine by then, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't see you and I having the vaccine by then. I think you're going to want frontline workers. You're going to want the elderly. You're going to want people with autoimmune disorders, that kind of thing. You and I, we're bottom of the list.
Right.
I reckon.
So we'll just stay inside.
But as soon as we're allowed,
I mean,
jab it.
You can't jab it into my veins.
Jab it into my fucking neck.
Put the Pfizer in my veins. So you're saying we can't go to Wrestle Kingdom this year, but next year there's possibility that we can go and then go to Super Mario World.
Sure, yeah. Let me try and figure out how I can feed myself and put a roof over my head first. But
veggies are cheap.
Once we sorted that out, maybe we can think about Wrestle Kingdom in 2 years.
For the end game of Kenny and Coda. Hey, does Sting
Let's
gonna be
get
there
into
too?
this show.
Sting gonna be there?
Sure, yeah. They're all going to be there.
Mace Windu?
They're all going to be there.
Yeah. Let's talk about NXT from December 9th, 2020, from I almost said the Cruiserweight Classic. The CWC, I don't even remember what it stands for.
The Central Wrestling Center. The Capital Wrestling Center.
I was quizzing you.
Yeah.
I was testing you. So, NXT starts off a little video recap of War Games from last Sunday. And we start off with the man we were promised, and that is Finn Balor, the NXT champion. He comes down, looking fresh, got the title on his shoulder, leather jacket. He grabs a microphone in the middle of the ring and says, War Games is done. It's over. Team sports, it's done. It's over. Captains, factions, bragging rights, not interested. The champion is back. So anyone back there thinking they know me, well, come and get to know me. And he's interrupted by Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne comes out. He goes, "Hey, Finn," as he walks down to the ring. "We're cut from the same cloth, you and I. We're not so different, you and I. We're from overseas, and it's about time that me and you have come face to face. I'm glad you're back, but don't get used to it," insinuating he's gonna be the one to take him out again. He made some jokes on War Games that he would have done worse if he had the opportunity to face Finn. But Pete is cut off by Kyle O'Reilly, who comes out with a microphone. He says, "Oh, I guess my invitation to this was lost in the mail. Peter, pumpkin eater, you're tough. Everyone knows it, but I know firsthand that my hand was raised. on Sunday. He pinned Lorcan. Finn, I broke your jaw. You may have won the match, but come on, man. 2 months of eating food out of a straw? I think I won that match. And I think we have some unfinished business. And then he's interrupted by Damien Priest.
So, up until this point, I was kind of fine with this. We sort of theorized on Sunday that Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne seemed to have unfinished business. They worked the majority of the match against each other. Kyle obviously got the pinfall in War Games, but Pete Dunne technically has a win over Kyle O'Reilly from the ladder match the other week. So, up to this point, makes perfect sense. These are two guys that feel that they should be in line to get a title shot.
So, then Damien Priest.
Then Damien Priest blew that out the water, because what's he doing here?
Yeah, so Damien Priest says, I've been waiting to face Finn because Priest versus Balor sounds pretty good. And he's met with, Oi, aren't you the geezer who couldn't beat Leon Ruff? Says Pete Dunne. And he says, well, aren't you the guy who's paid by Pat McAfee? And then there's a joke about how Kyle took, 6 months off? Oh, I didn't get paid to take time off. I was a little lost here.
I think Priest was saying it about both of them, because both Dunne and Kyle weren't working for the longest time, were they?
Yeah.
So I think that's what Priest was. It was their dig. Look, I've been here the whole time. Where have you guys been?
So they're all standing in the ring, and while they're all mouthing off at each other, Finn Balor just gets out of the ring and walks off, like slowly just leaves. And they're like, what's going on? He's just not interested. And he says, you guys need to learn some manners. You all cut me off. So how about this? January 6th, New Year's Evil, I'll defend this title, and we'll see who gets that funeral. Or did he say funeral? Would have been funny. As he's standing there, Karrion Kross's music hits, and out comes Scarlett. Decked up, all spooky and scary, like kind of, what's that Angelina Jolie Maleficent kind of vibes I'm getting out of that. And Scarlett just like kind of circles Finn, staring at him. And Finn raises the microphone and says, I got a message for your boy. Tell him when he's ready, Finn's ready. And Damien Priest, as Finn leaves, Damien Priest, who's still in the ring, says, hey, Scarlett, hey, Smoke Show, I gotta ask, do you tell him to wait in the car while you handle his business? Next time, he should step to me like a man. And that's the segment.
I felt this started out okay, and then I felt maybe they ran out of scripted lines they were supposed to say before the music hit or something, but it just fell apart. It sounded like just like three school kids trying to improvise. Like it was horrible. I didn't think anyone came across particularly well in this. And this is the start of your Karrion Kross return after all these months. You just play his music and Scarlett comes out. Sorry, it was Priest, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't have a right to challenge. He lost.
He has a right to challenge Johnny.
Yeah,
you got screwed over by.
He can get a rematch there.
20 Ghostface.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. I thought if Champa came out and he was the third guy, cool. I'd have bought that. That kind of makes sense to me. A heel is always going to try and logic his way into a position. So Dunne being there made sense to me. Damien Priest didn't do anything, mate. You lost.
Why? We're going to get to Kross because, spoiler, he does come back tonight. But in I just said that War Games was such a hot show. I thought it was such a banger of a network special. And this is what you hit us back with? This is the comeback? Like, this is to get me interested? This did the absolute reverse, I think, of what they were attempting here, because this cooled me off for this entire episode. I didn't give a shit about what happened later in the show because this was so terrible. Like, how am I supposed to be excited for any, like, you didn't actually say we were getting a match. You just said he's fighting on that special. And then the re-debut of the return of Cross, like, what? Like, so backwards here.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I kind of see it as they're going to go to Cross and Balor probably at the pay-per-view, not New Year's Evil.
Got you.
But maybe just hold him off until then and just beat up whoever wins the title match at New Year's Evil. Have a big return, something like epic to end. But it was just, he just came back and then drove off in his car later.
So strange. So we have not seen Carrion yet. So far it was just Scarlett.
Just Scarlett.
But like, to just... I'm just baffled. It's not that simple. The only person who's got this gripe is Kyle. It should have just been Kyle.
Yeah, it's Kyle, I want another shot.
I
I may have lost, but I took you out of action for a couple of months.
I killed you and then went into War Games and won. I got the pin, and you said whoever wins War Games gets
a
shot.
shot.
So why isn't it
So,
me?
hello, I'm here.
Dunne, get out of here. Priest, get out of here. Cross, yeah, you do deserve a title shot, but are you back? We don't know.
Yeah.
So it's so backwards. I just felt like every time the past few weeks of just weekly NXT, we keep saying it's like, clearly this is now, when it was like in that period, maybe a few years ago, it totally felt like a different product from WWE. It felt like when we got that Cruiserweight Classic, or NXT was just super hot for a little while there, that it felt like it was completely on a different island than WWE. And now it is completely the same product. This is the reason I don't like watching your Raws and SmackDowns, because I can't handle this copy paste of shit that just doesn't make sense, and they treat us like we're dumb.
But also, unfortunately, I thought this wasn't performed as well as a lot of talent on Raw and SmackDown. I'm sorry, but like I know you didn't watch it, but that Liv Morgan documentary that was last week, she was talking about I think they call it the mirror room at the PC, which is where you go and you cut promos in front of a mirror, essentially, and you're cutting it to yourself, and all of this is filmed, and you use it to improve your promo. Dunne, it doesn't look like you've been in there.
He's in the tanning bed.
He's in the... that's not even a tan bed. That's fake bake. That was... You can see the streaks. Looked horrendous, but...
Oh, one sec. Sorry. Technical... Gotta re-click something here. Sorry.
It's okay.
Shit. My logic decided.
Let's go to the chat rooms while you're sorting that out. See what you guys thought of this opening segment, because I know South Newton on the YouTube room thought NXT was great tonight personally. So that's good. We're all entitled to our different opinions, and I want people to enjoy the show. Just we didn't. And Dean Lawson thinks this is a terrible review. So again, you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm sorry for wasting your time, Dean. Clearly not a Spider-Man fan or into vegetarian food. Chris Elliott said this seems to be the difference between NXT post-takeover show and AEW post-pay-per-view shows. AEW seem to be able to find decent logical ways of moving their stories on. Whereas NXT kind of just, which way are we going next? And just throw a thing together. But I think we're good to start recording again. So let's go.
I didn't understand this opening segment. I kind of didn't. It didn't work for me. I went into this show actually super hyped after such a great show last week, and I just instantly after watching this, the pieces weren't in the right slots here. Like, you have Finn Balor, he's great. I don't know. Do you just do New Year's Evil with Kyle versus Finn for a free TV rematch or something? And that's where Cross came back and attacks Finn. Like, there's just so many other logical things that make sense than what they did today.
Yeah.
And it just made me instantly groan. And I know we're super negative on this show, and it's like, because they're doing this boring shit. Like,
zero creativity and shit performances, unfortunately. And I like these guys. I like their wrestling, but this wasn't good.
Yeah, wasn't too big.
Let's
of a fan.
move on.
So we go now to a commercial break. But when we come back, Pete Dunne is backstage, and he's like, yeah, I didn't want to wait. I want to fight. And he's attacked by Killian Dain. Remember, he beat him with the car door with Pat and stuff. And Dain is like, you want to end my career, huh? And, they've announced that this match is going to happen later tonight. Pete Dunne versus Killian Dain. Can't wait. Jake,
At least that's logical. At least that makes sense, you know?
They try to kill him with a car. Jake Atlas is in the ring with his lit-ass entrance music. Can't get enough of this theme. And he's going one-on-one against Isaiah Swerve Scott. So these two have their challenges of trying to get the Cruiserweight title, both separately. And now they got to fight, and we'll see maybe if the winner of this kind of goes in that direction. And I know we have Kurt Stallion kind of in the background of...
Okay, this is another gripe I have. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But Kurt Stallion is your number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. He's not wrestled on NXT. I know he does his things on 205, but for me it's the equivalent of having Kevin Owens is your challenger to Roman Reigns on SmackDown, but Kevin Owens has only been wrestling on Main Event. You know, it's... The Cruiserweight Championship is part of NXT now. Santos Escobar is a prominent part of NXT every week. Why am I watching Jake Atlas and Swerve when your challenger, your number one contender, is chilling on 205?
I
Doesn't
am
make
a little
sense to me.
confused
Doesn't make sense.
Their social media is all like, oh, Kurt Stallion's like a number one contender or something like that. And then the story is now, well, we got to find out.
He was pulled from that tag match last week.
Yeah.
And... yeah, why was this not Swerve versus Stallion to try and get Stallion a big win? I know they're trying to build Jake, but for me, it's your challenger you should be building up.
I know we saw Santos last week in the mixed tag, and then of course he wasn't on TakeOver, but maybe he should have just come out, joined commentary, or cut a promo being like, "Hey, I'm a champion and I'm not on a TakeOver. Like, what's the deal?"
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that, but instead we just get, I don't know. I feel like they're not doing a good job of making us care. Like we always said, the stakes of TakeOver, there wasn't really any stakes. Like, it was a good show, but the stakes weren't. There was a title match, and like, cool. But so I'm just like, are the stakes here that the winner goes to the Cruiserweight title? Okay, but I just this show week to week lately has just made me not care.
Yeah,
that's what it's been doing. But Jake Atlas and Swerve are great performers.
For sure.
I think
completely.
So. Jake and Swerve one-on-one. There's a cartwheel spot where Jake gets caught into some armbar type move from Swerve, but gets out of that. They're countering each other's moves. They're really fast, and they definitely know each other. They're like doing backflips and springboards against the ropes and stuff, but they keep countering and countering. Eventually, Swerve hits his flashy flatliner, but Atlas kicks out at 2. There's Atlas who gets to his feet and hits a super kick, but then runs into this like spinning clothesline. There's a X-Plex type, like sit-out type of move. Looks pretty cool as well.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
For a 2 count. And then there's a series of roll-ups back and forth. They're trying to get each other's number, but it's Jake who eventually gets the shoulders to the mat with like a pinning kind of, what's it, three-handed credenza or whatever. I don't know. But it's like holding him down to the mat, and it's Swerve who can't get his shoulder out of that. He's like locked and tied down to the mat here, trying to kick out, but he cannot. And Jake gets the 3, winning this match.
Thought it was a pretty entertaining, quick match. Both guys I like a lot. I think they've got a lot to them, and I see them moving up the card over the next couple of years. What was most interesting was after the match, Swerve had this look on his face where he just seemed furious at Atlas here.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're getting a bit of a character change, maybe moving into more of a heel role from Swerve, which I think's kind of good because I found him quite bland character-wise. So maybe this will unlock something different in him, and I see a rerun of this match down the line.
Yeah, I could see, because he kind of looked like he wanted to hit him.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it. He
didn't.
Just like frustrated and he leaves. So I could see. But the issue with Jake Atlas is every time he's on NXT, his matches are like under 5 minutes, it feels. Like they're really quick. So it's like they're not really giving him a chance to kind of show what he can do. Kind of the same with Swerve.
I feel his story right now is he's racking up these wins to work his way up the ladder again before he can challenge. And then we'll probably have a more substantial match. But yeah, I just don't understand why we're seeing this and not a Kurt Stallion match.
That's my
gripe.
He's the number one contender. I'm just happy I got to see Jake Atlas and his theme song. And
it's
then
a nice
he
thing.
won the match, so I got to hear it a second time.
Yeah.
Right? We have Champa backstage sitting on a chair. He loves chairs, sitting on them at least. He says, anything is worth fighting for never comes easy. I have to know, the past needs to die in the past. Cameron Grimes, you're sure the squeakiest. Well, you're loud, brash, ignorant. Means you're confident. But you're also scared. So let's find out tonight. Grimes versus Champa a little later on tonight.
This was a match that was just announced earlier in the week. It has zero kind of story going into it. It almost felt like those like house shows that they suddenly make a network special or something like that, where it's, oh, these guys are fighting each other, we'll have to just quickly throw a little story together.
Oh, Dean Ambrose is leaving?
Yeah, or like one of the Saudi shows. It's right, we're doing Randy Orton versus Triple H at one of the Saudi shows, so they quickly just put together a video package of their history and they both cut a promo against each other each. Kind of felt like that to try and build up this match that has nothing going into it. But Ciampa's great at these promos, so I gave a little bit of juice to the match later tonight, and I'm not against that, even though it was a bit out of nowhere.
It's Ciampa. Ciampa beat Thatcher, and he's gonna face the guy. Oh wait, Grimes lost.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. Are we sure Vince isn't working on this show? Are we certain? Can anyone confirm? I heard The Undertaker might be working on NXT soon. You hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
Maybe. Fucking make it better. I don't know. Maybe teach people how to cut some promos.
Well, Ciampa could cut the promo.
Ciampa is one of the best promos.
I'm not completely against just cutting a promo on a cold match. This is the beginning of building.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't like it's this is a big match down the line. This is your hangover show. This is your week after. So I'm not completely against it. Yeah.
Ciampa's a good promo.
He is.
And he's promoting a match that's tonight, but it's like shouldn't Grimes have won at TakeOver, and then he's like, I'm on my path to fight for some title. I won at TakeOver.
Yeah.
I should go somewhere. And Ciampa's like, well, hey, bro, I won too. So then it's like instant story. Nope. He's just fighting Grimes because we booked it and announced it on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why can't you just be creative with things?
Also, Grimes was saying going into his match, or commentary was saying that he feels that he's done with Dexter now and he's conquered that fear by losing.
Yeah, you lost. So
again.
Well, we come back from commercial and it's in the ring. Just making their way. The entrance has already started. The Grizzled Young Vets. They're back. And I could be mistaken, but is this a tag team triple threat tornado
I think
match?
it was, yeah.
Okay. Because there was like no tags, nothing. Okay, great.
Unless the ref just do whatever, guys.
It is a Young Bucks match.
It made it exciting, I thought.
Grizzled Young Vets, Ever Rise, and Imperium. Now, last week there was the drama with Ever Rise getting taken out by Imperium and then coming back to beat up both teams, then getting in their car, driving off.
Seeing Kenny on the highway, yeah.
In Florida. No one wearing shirts in their cars. Full gear on the highway Wednesday night last week. But Grizzled Young Vets versus Ever Rise versus Imperium. We have Bartel, who's hitting suplexes on everyone. The hatch suplex, I like to call it, the one-armed butterfly type thing. James Drake, that is, does a double team where he jumps off the back of Zach Gibson, kind of like poetry in motion, but he runs with like a Daniel Bryan style drop kick, which looks pretty nice. Ever Rise do this double team like sleeper jacket thing that was pretty cool, and then they hit like a poetry in motion move too. Clearly everyone loves the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, it was like a drop toe hold and then jumping off the back. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Ever Rise decide to just clean house. They're hulking up. They hit a double stun gun to James Drake, sending him face first into like the turnbuckle on the ropes there. And then they get caught up where it's Imperium who take control, hit their double Tree of Woe drop kick combo move that they like to hit. Eichner hits a rolling fireman carry senton move and then jumps up to the top rope for a moonsault for a 2 count. On the outside, Gibson eats this tilt-a-whirl, but like a face-first kind of tilt-a-whirl move where he lands on the outside. In the ring, there's like an assisted DDT, and then all guys are trying to get in here, but it eventually ends up with the Grizzled Young Vets hitting the Ticket to Mayhem. I'm just going to say on one of the guys from Ever Rise because I'm never going to remember their names. And the Grizzled Young Veterans pick up the win. Vic Joseph knows the name of Ticket to Mayhem.
He does. He was on NXT
because
UK a long time.
Yeah, but he doesn't know the names to all these other moves.
It's okay. It's okay. I thought this was probably the best match on the show, to be honest. I found this really enjoyable, and I kind of wish when you do these like multi-team tags that they just do this. They do these tornado tag rules because it always ends up breaking down to this anyway. So why not, rather than make the ref look silly by not being able to keep it controlled, just make it the rule. I always find it weird where you end up having to tag in from another team member and that kind of thing. I thought this was a really entertaining match. I thought Everrise actually shone in this one. I quite liked them constantly trying to steal the pin at every opportunity. I thought they were very entertaining and showed they really upped their game, I think. Grizzled Young Vets, I'd have liked to have heard them cut a promo after the win because I think Zach Gibson is just money on the mic and would make me maybe care about this a bit more. And I think maybe start giving Everrise a bit more mic time as well because I think they're entertaining. And we need to start seeing them more than just those guys that used to be enhancement talent a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're on 205. They're kind of their heels now and stuff. So the character's shining through. But I think the tag division needs some help because the champs are Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. And, okay, so now they need some programs. So I guess the Grizzled Young Vets are in the next...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think they'd make some good champions down the line. I like both of these guys. I think Zach Gibson, like you said, on the mic is great. And shoes off for Gibson. But James Drake is also pretty damn good. So
yeah, and we'll be having, we didn't get Johnny and the Rascals, but we will be having the Rascals soon, and that's going to help that division out.
They were in the crowd
as well. They were there behind Wade.
Yeah, we didn't get Johnny and the Rascals. Too bad. We got Austin Theory though.
Yeah,
that's just as good. We get a War Games Fallout video package where it has all clips of Sunday, but then some interviews of some of the superstars that were in the War Games matches. And they're all saying it was physically brutal and were hurt. Io Shirai shows the clip of her with the trash can. Shout out the great Sasuke. She says, "You might think I'm crazy. Well, you might be right." And we have Pat, who was on his show the next day in a neck brace, being like, "Yeah, it was hard to walk this morning. You know, this was physically crazy and so grueling." We have Bobby Fish, who had to get surgery, and he says he had to reattach his bicep.
His tricep.
Tricep?
Yeah,
oh my crazy. God. What? Dakota Kai's injured because, as she says, Rhea Ripley beat me with a hammer. It's like, yeah, you probably are hurt. And Candice, who had her arm broken as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's War Games. These kind of matches, the TLC, those kind of matches, you're going to have injuries, but I wonder if there's going to be any words at NXT because we had the Cross injury at that takeover. We had the Finn injury at that takeover. And we had Oni, Bobby, Candice, Dakota. Like so many injuries coming out of this one. You wonder if... I love the style. I find it so entertaining. But also, from a business point of view, these are your guys... And you can't be just having everyone injured after these takeovers, right? Very entertaining to watch, but there's a bit of a track record now from these takeover events.
I hope they're okay.
Especially when it's in front of nobody, you know?
Fair, yeah. These sound pretty messed up.
But I thought this was a great video, just highlighting how good a pay-per-view that was and the brutality of it. I would have maybe even just opened the show with this.
Yeah.
And then go into Finn coming out.
It would have been a better intro.
Yeah.
Toni Storm is backstage, and she says, "Come on, Mackenzie Mitchell.
Put it together.
I want the NXT Women's Championship, and all I hear about is Ember Moon. When I came back, Ember Moon this. Well, she stole my thunder, and she's not going to be ahead of me. I'm the one who should be in line. Again, logic? No. Where's Raquel? She won the match. You didn't, Tony. Your team won. But realistically...
Heel logic, I don't mind, though. Her team won.
Yeah.
So...
I'm next in line.
Yeah.
So, Io Shirai shows up.
And she's beaten Io. Like, she does have she won the Mae Young Classic.
Right,
she beat Io.
Years ago, right. Before...
Still, it's a win over someone who hasn't picked up too many losses in NXT.
Well, Io shows up and says, War Games is over, and then points to her title on the shoulder. This is my only problem now. And Toni, I have no problem with you. I just don't like you. And she attacks Toni Storm, hits her with a forearm. They start to brawl around the backstage area through a door. And then it cuts to the ringside area. And now they're fighting down the ramp into the ring. And Toni tries to get some offense in, but it's Io who hits her with the Shote palm strike, goes up for the moonsault, but Toni rolls out of the ring there, leaving, and is attacked by Ember Moon, who's like, I heard you talking shit. And Toni runs off, and Io and Ember are kind of like...
No, Ember throws her back in the ring, and Io hits the moonsault.
Does hit the moonsault, yeah, sorry. And now Toni's pissed because she got beat up. And yeah, okay, Ember Moon and Io Shirai.
I found Toni Storm quite entertaining here, actually. Shooting down Mackenzie at the beginning. I thought it was one of the better promos we've seen from her. And I guess it's just, everyone like vying for position to go against Io Shirai. But looks like we're going to the Ember Moon and Toni Storm feud. That looks like what we're going to first.
Yeah, or like more tag team combinations to fill some matches the next few weeks and stuff. Yeah, so Ember and Toni is definitely like the mini feud here going forward, but I still think Raquel is the one who's got the
Raquel's I think the next in line for the title.
Yeah, Frank in the chat is reminding me, I didn't write it down, but after Io hit the moonsault, she goes to pin Toni.
Yes.
And realizes, wait, this isn't a match. Yeah, sorry.
Muscle memory, right?
Hitting that moonsault. I like Io Shirai, like, being more like this. Like, I don't like you. And then attacks her. Like, I like that being of Io Shirai. I would have liked Io to come out with the trash can. The crumpled up one, like the real beaten up trash can, the one that she got like stuck in at one point, and been like, hey Toni, I know I'm the one who used the trash can, but I think you should have this because you're trash. We'll see what happens. More Toni later tonight. Cameron Grimes versus Tamasa Champa, and Grimes comes out. No strap, but he does have his hat. And Thatcher shows up right away, pretty much as these guys start grappling. Thatcher sets up a chair just like Champa did, and just to watch this match from a great point of view. Champa keeps getting the upper hand on Grimes, kind of roughing him down, and then Grimes, every time he tries to get some strikes in, eventually runs into a back elbow from Champa, sends him to the outside, and then Grimes and Champa are like standing there, but Thatcher's now standing there, kind of interacting. Makes the distraction, which Grimes tries to capitulate with, but Champa scouts it and throws Grimes into like the
Capulate?
wall. Sorry.
Capitalize?
Yeah, capitalize. I don't want to talk about this show. I don't know if you can tell. Champa then beats up on Cameron Grimes, and then they go to picture-in-picture, but it's Grimes who has some offense. He hits a spinning sidewalk slam style side effect, which the commentary mentioned that, yes, he was trained by the Hardys, or Jeff Hardy. But when we're coming back fully from P&P, it's Champa who fires back with a clothesline, a knee in the corner. There's roll-up attempts, but then Grimes yet again eats another Champa knee, but fires back with a Superman forearm. Champa runs the ropes. Grimes runs the ropes. There's a collision course for a 2 count. And then there is another distraction, which is... I wrote down Russ Taylor, but that's not his name, because his name now is Tyler Rust.
Yes.
Right, okay. With the T at the end, like Rust.
Never rest, never rust.
Yeah, it was exactly what I was thinking. Or that Billy Talent song. So Tyler Rust is on the apron. Champa knees him in the head, turns around. Grimes thinks he's got the distraction, but Champa weasels his way out of that as well and hits the Willow's Bell and pins Grimes. He spikes him with that DDT, the rope assist DDT there. But Champa not letting these false, like, whether it be his distraction, like his own type of distraction that we've seen him do, or just a guy getting up on the apron, he ain't falling for that shit.
I'm kind of okay with this. It felt like after their match on Sunday that they were going to go to a rematch just from that whole stare down. Champa pretty much got the better of Thatcher every time leading up. It was always Champa poking the bear. Like, Thatcher didn't want anything of it. This time Thatcher's like, well, now I've got to poke the bear too. Unfortunately, it just Cameron Grimes once again comes out looking like a massive dork here. He had the distraction, and he still lost. The match was fine. I mean, these two are great in the ring. Like the quality of the wrestling was absolutely fine, but it's more just setting up this Champa Thatcher story, and I'm okay because I want to get that fight pit down the line.
Yeah, we need to get that fight pit, Champa versus Thatcher.
And I like that we're introducing someone new as well.
Rust.
I've not seen any of this guy's work outside WWE, so I'm curious, but I know we ran a poll on the Twitter to see who people were most excited of the new signees, and Russ Taylor got a lot of votes for that from our listeners, so obviously a talent we should be looking out for.
Wait, Rust what?
Russ Taylor is what we put on the poll. Isn't that his name? Tyler Rust?
I'm pretty sure there's a guy in Ring of Honor called Rust Taylor.
Right.
Rust Taylor. So now there's a Tyler Rust.
Who cares?
There's so many Rusts. Never Rust. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I kind of was expecting more from this, to be fair. I thought this would have saved the show for me. Champa and Grimes. How can you not go right? But it's okay. It was there to set up future things. But yeah, I think there's a better match out of these two down the line.
Champa and Grimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there wasn't any reason for this.
Yeah.
So this was just a classic TV, no feud, go to distraction.
Champa walks off after and stares down Thatcher as the crowd here chants, "Who's your daddy?" And then Grime comes and gets in the face of Thatcher like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why did you do that?" And Thatcher just grabs Grimes' leg and then does this knee twist.
It looked like he just snapped his ankle.
It's really
He just
funny.
grabbed him, threw him to the ground, and yanked on
This
it.
was pretty
Poor
great.
guy.
This was pretty funny. He's like, I don't want to listen to you.
I just
Crap.
feel Cameron Grimes is turning into Heath Slater, right? He's just getting beaten up by everyone.
Yeah. And one day he'll be Stang.
Yeah.
Raquel Gonzalez, backstage. She says at War Games, not only did we win, but I pinned the champion. Dakota Kai is injured. She's sitting at home because of what happened. But after tonight, Ember Moon is going to regret ever coming back to NXT. So I'm one step closer to facing Io. I want that title opportunity. I deserve it. That's what she says.
She does.
Yeah, realistically, she does. We're about to go to commercial, but they say after the break, it's the Garganos. They're going to be here live in the ring. It's the Gargano way. And the Garganos, Johnny and Candice, both winners on Sunday, looking fresh in their suits.
Yeah.
Johnny's got like a
Baby blue.
Miami Vice baby blue, and then Candice is in like a bright lavender to match her hair. Looking good. And Austin Theory in a shirt that's way too tight for him. But hey, fuck it. Why not?
And poor Indy Hartwell still in the neck brace.
Still in the neck brace. The Eclipse is a dangerous move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, before that, we have the real main event.
This is what we watch
Yeah.
NXT for,
This is
guys.
the real thing. This is why we still watch NXT. Xia Li and Boa. It's another video of them training, and we see Xia Li like in somewhere dark, sweating. She's got like these things she's hitting, training like posts and
Like
punching them.
wooden
Yeah.
pillars and stuff.
She's punching them repeatedly, and then we see Boa, who is getting like lashes here from a kendo stick. Like he's getting struck repeatedly.
One of them pretty much got him right across the throat. It looked so nasty.
Now there's like blood all over her knuckles, her hands, blood coming out of Boa's face. Obviously, it looks a little gimmicked, but it's okay. He's drooling blood at one point here. Again, like all different camera cuts and like just kind of scary almost because the way it's like filmed. Like, what are they doing? What are they training? Why are they abusing their bodies like this? And then we see the old man who just in a native tongue here, where we see the translation, hit him harder, and they're like crying. Xia Li is just bawling her eyes out here while she's like getting hit and punching these things. Bo is screaming. There's spitting blood, and again. It's just torture essentially. And then we see the hand again, and then we see what we think is the master, and this woman's face, who now has like face paint across her face, as they continue to torture or train Xia Li and Boa.
Another really good video, I thought. I thought this was shot really well. I do find it interesting that WWE were showcasing and glorifying blood as much as they did here, where it's something for kind of over a decade now they've been shying away from. And whenever you see, of course this is fake blood, but I don't think it really matters. Like, if you're seeing blood on TV, you have blood or you don't, you know?
Yeah.
But like proper close-ups of it, all dripping down and stuff. Thought it looked fantastic. I'm really enjoying these vignettes. I think they're shot really well. I think they're being performed really well. But once these two come back, they need to be killers. If they're going through this training regimen, they need to just dominate their divisions.
Xia Li's finally got to beat Aaliyah.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's got to beat Aaliyah.
Just 3 seconds, done.
Yeah, kick to the head. Both of them got to be like legit people. The news kind of this week is that Karen Q will be now known as Karen Kwan, and I think it's safe to assume that she is their master. This is the person who's behind this thing, this torture, beating them lifeless with their own bodies just being put through this crazy. It's interesting.
I like it.
I like the one where they were being drowned in water torture.
Yeah.
That was more torture for me, but yeah, it was fine.
Oh, this they were. I mean, they were hitting Boa with
they
this.
Were hitting Boa. They were fuck Boa. Wade Barrett mentioning the 36 chambers of Shaolin. So they got to go through these 30. There's 35 more chambers. 34 now, I guess.
Right.
More chambers. They got to go through. More torture. More torture on our NXT is what we need. More blood and guts. The Gargano Way. Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and Austin Theory, and Indy Hartwell in the ring. Of course, Johnny with his North American Championship 3-time. He starts dancing. I was going to try to get someone to GIF it, but WWE.com instantly already had the GIF where he was dancing here. Johnny grabs the stick and says, "For months, we told you we'd show you the way. Well, you are looking at it. The present, the future, the general," as he points to Candice LeRae. "Open your eyes, everyone. We are the way. Sunday, we dominated. That's the way. I won back my North American Championship. That's the way. Team Candice won at War Games. That's the way." And then Theory jumps in and says, "The Milky Way." And they're like, anyways, so it's okay. You're excited. Candice, you broke your arm, and I had to get stitches in my mouth. It was terrible. The moneymaker. Well, I have a surprise for you, babe, honey, Candice. Get it. Go get it, Indy. Go get it, Indy. And Indy in their neck brace goes over and gets this something that's covered by some sort of, I don't know, sheet. And he says, "I got you something. It's a surprise. I imported this from Italy. Overnight shipping. Do you know how expensive it is to get overnight shipping from Italy? Very expensive. Drum roll, please." As Indy does a drum roll. Austin Theory does a drum roll, but by moving his pecs. And then he goes, "Oh, I need a better one. Hey, someone in the back. Production guy, Tim. Hit me with a drum roll sound effect." So I guess Tim obliges.
Good old Tim.
And we hear the sound effect. And the reveal is it's some shitty like bowling trophy that has a troll doll with green hair on the top of it. And he's like, "Look, it's a trophy with Shotzi's head on it. Yeah, imported from Italy. Because, babe, you deserve it." And Candice is all like, "Oh, you shouldn't have. But Johnny, I didn't get you anything. I didn't get you one. I didn't get you a trophy." And Johnny looks over at Candice and says, "Babe, the only trophy I need is the North American Championship." Not his
Starts
wife.
gyrating again.
And he high-fives Theory without even looking at Theory. And then he says that next week, Priest and Ruff want a tag match against us. Well, I have a theory that the result will be the same as Sunday. And then they're interrupted by Damien Priest. He says, "Congrats, you did it, Johnny." And Theory, "Do you still have that pipe with you? 'Cause I'll shove it up your ass." And as he's walking down the ring fired up, Damien Priest is attacked from behind by a returning Karrion Kross, who beats up Damien Priest, hits him with a powerbomb through kind of a part of the set, just like a table nearby with ring stuff, gear or whatever. Priest leaves, walks out a door. The car is running with Scarlett in the front seat. He gets in the car and drives off.
The big return.
The big return.
I love Johnny Gargano. I think he's great, but this material was so bad. I thought I didn't find this funny at all. I was embarrassed watching it. I don't know if Priest versus Cross is the direction I'd go, but I see it probably going to be the match at New Year's Evil. They're both kind of evil, spooky people. So I guess that's the match, and then you'll build Cross, I imagine, for the takeover for the championship. This is just a small feud to bring him back. Probably not how I'd bring him back, but that's the route you're going. But it just seems so anticlimactic.
Very. This was very lousy as a return for someone who had a fucking bird out there on
It was
Sunday.
just, Cross, you ready? Yeah, all right. Okay, yeah, just jump, Priest.
Of all people, you figure right away, hey, I kind of deserve a title shot, and then you have William Regal, who I don't like GMs in wrestling, and I like the fact AEW really doesn't have one. But Regal is a good GM.
He is, yeah.
He does use logic usually, and he's a babyface, so he's usually like giving us kind of what we want, right? So wouldn't you want to maybe prolong that title match not happening at New Year's Evil, so you would want Cross versus someone? I understand Priest like called him out and talked shit to Scarlett earlier in the night, when he's like, oh, you do all his work for him because he's in the car waiting, so then you have the car waiting with her in it and he comes out. But it's not a creative, like, it's really anticlimactic.
Maybe just take Damien Priest out of that segment at the beginning, because it was illogical. And if you want to do Priest and Cross, you can have it as, well, Cross beat the big guy Cross, before he left, he took out Dijakovic.
Yeah.
And then he beat Keith Lee. They were the two big men in NXT. And sure, he's going to want to come back and take on Finn, but to make a statement, who's the big guy that's still there? It's Damien Priest. And I think you just get a bit more of a pop of that surprise return of Priest coming back, and why is he attacked? Cross. Yeah. Why is he attacked Priest? Just gives a bit of a more surprise moment. But having Priest coming out at the beginning, having nothing to do with the title picture, and just randomly taunting his wife, and then coming out later for the story he is involved in. He does have a beef with Johnny for being screwed out of the title. It was just, it didn't work for me at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that if you were going to bring him back out tonight, first of all, having Scarlett in the first segment earlier, all you need is like her to be like, he's coming. He's coming. He's almost ready. He's almost ready. And then a few weeks he builds up, and then you just say, hey, take over, number one contenders, Priest versus so-and-so, like whatever. But I just really, really felt like this didn't hit on anything here with him attacking Priest. Is so left field that it just, I was like, oh, okay. Then you're in your jacket and you're beating him up. It's just like, weren't you protecting this guy? You were trying to protect this guy, making him kind of seem like a big deal. And they made him seem like a man now. Before he was, he got injured, but like before they treated him like he's this scary guy. And now it's just like, he's mad that you made fun of his wife, so he attacked you in a segment when Johnny was talking. Did he know Priest was going to come out? Because he attacked him pretty quick. So was he just waiting to attack Priest? Like, it's just logically, it doesn't, you could have had him attack Priest in the earlier segment. You could have had him come out and maybe not attack Finn, but stare him down. That would have been more exciting than when you read the news tomorrow, like, Cross returns. Oh, what happened? What was his return like? Who did he attack? Well, he attacked Priest, who had a gripe with Gargano.
We love returns in wrestling.
Yeah.
We love things that make us pop.
Yeah.
Go, oh! When he came out, it's just, all right, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, I didn't get it. And I know, again, we're so negative on this episode, but a lot of the things that happened on this show are just baffling me. Just creative-wise, I I don't understand. It's not gonna get me super. This doesn't get me excited for this match. The match itself should get you excited, but the way they've now booked it, I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? I want to see Finn have a title match, and now we know it's not going to be against Cross. So let's just go to that, and it's just a little backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had some anticlimactic returns in wrestling, but like, yeah, this isn't like the number one, but like wasn't very exciting.
No.
He gets off in his car and leaves. He should have done that at the beginning of the show. Drives off. I don't need to be here. I'm still on the shelf, but like beating people up. I don't know. There's so many avenues. Where was that bird? Carrion, the bird, the vulture. What? Come on. Change the channel and watch Sting return. A 62-year-old guy. Fuck. Wednesdays, telling you. I kind of agree with you, by the way, about it was a Johnny segment, the whole thing. And I like Johnny being the like corny heel. I think he does it well, but the theory joke with the Milky Way joke was so
unfortunately
ridiculous.
The writers at WWE aren't comedians, and it's always the issue with WWE comedy. It's not funny.
Yeah. I didn't mind his promo, but it had some drops in it where I'm like, okay, well, all right, cool. I'm interested in seeing where it goes, though. The main story, I feel, is Johnny in theory, like being a unit, essentially.
Yeah.
He says, I'm the present and this guy's the future of NXT, which is right, but there needs to be some tweaking done on that as well. We're just so negative. We have Tyler Rust, who's backstage, and he's interrupted by Malcolm Bivens, who's like, hey, I gave you my business card. Why aren't you talking to me? Let's go chat. Let's go talk. It's like Team Taz asking Will Hobbs. Hey.
This was a good thing. I like Malcolm Bivens. It right away puts a spotlight on Tyler Rust. Indus Sher nowhere to be seen. I'm all for this. I'm excited to see what this guy's like, and I'm excited to hear more Malcolm Bivens promos. So this was a positive for me.
Yeah, interested to see where this goes with new people, and Malcolm needs to be a voice for someone, multiple people, if anything.
100%.
Yeah. Pete Dunne versus Killian Dain. Grudge match. Car door match. Should be a car door match. It's explosive off the top because Dain is pissed off, and rightfully so. I mentioned Pete Dunne's tan earlier. This is the black and gold brand. Pete Dunne definitely takes that to heart.
I thought he was wearing tights. I honestly did. His fake bake, his fake tan, whatever this was, looked horrible.
He's gold. He's bronze.
He looks like
an Oscar.
He looks like an Essex girl.
Stay golden, pony boy. They start brawling all over the place. They're on the outside of the ring, and Dunne hits him with a series of strikes. Back in the ring, Dunne runs at him, gets hit with a belly-to-belly overhead throw from Dain, but comes back with an enziguri and then a short German suplex. They go to commercial break, and there's a commercial of Bianca Belair telling some girl not to vape. When we come back, Wade Barrett says that obviously the winner of this match would go on to be number one contender. What? What do you mean? No! Wade. No.
If I was Kyle O'Reilly, I'd just march down there and go,
be like, Wade,
what?
Can we talk for a second?
Wade?
Yeah, we come back from commercial, and Wade's like, so, welcome back, Pete Dunne versus Killian Dain, and you know William Regal is obviously watching this match, like, contently, because he's seriously, because the winner of this could potentially go on to be the... No, not at all. Not at all, Wade. But Wade, you are doing a fantastic job. Dain hits a tope atomico like Eddie Guerrero, which is crazy considering his size, and then hits Dunne with a power bomb and an elbow drop for a 2 count. Dunne eventually gets this like arm triangle attempt here, but that's blocked and lifted into another power bomb, and then a senton into the corner, but he misses it. They're fighting on the top rope, and Dain hits this really cool looking fisherman superplex, which is quite awesome. And then he hits the wasteland and climbs up, but out come Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, and it's chaos. And then Drake Maverick shows up with a chair to try to fight them off, and there's distractions on distractions, and it's Pete Dunne hitting the bitter end on Killian Dain to get the victory here.
Yeah, like this was fine. Again, like I'm not particularly invested in this story. Unfortunately, there were some good things in the match. It was another kind of 6-minute TV match. Not a whole lot to say. I do think Dunne should find a different finisher to use against bigger guys, because it's not I know he's jacked now, but it's just not jackter. I know he's jacked now, but I just don't buy him picking up a Killian Dain for the bitter end, and it's pretty much just Dain jumping up and face planting.
Yeah, it looks weird.
So maybe do more of the submission finish with the fingers or something like that when against bigger guys. But I guess this is the end of this feud. He beat Dain. Dain can move on and join the tag division again with Drake.
And we can hear their whistling theme.
We can hear the whistling theme.
Yeah, I mean, well, according to Wade Barrett's, knowledge, he's the number one contender now, Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like the bitter end too, but I feel like he could have something different. The bitter end's also a good placebo song. We get Pete Dunne doing the shoulders shrug, and he's like, I do like that should be another finisher. Just the shoulder shrug.
The shrug?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Conor McGregor do it.
To win a match?
Yeah, he shouldered the guy.
Right.
Yeah. Leon Ruff is backstage, and he's being interviewed, and he is told that Damian Priest has been taken out by Karrion Kross, that next week he won't be able to compete in that tag match that we were promised. And in comes Johnny and Austin Theory, and Johnny says there ain't no way Priest will be ready for next week. He got taken out. So maybe you're man enough, Leon. You can take us both on. Damian Priest is shooting imaginary arrows in a hospital bed right now, and the doctors are like, quit it already. I actually don't know why I found that so funny, but Johnny goes off about these imaginary arrows that Priest does, and that's pretty funny. He says, you're a brave little soldier. You could take us on 2-on-1, as they laugh and walk off. And as Ruff is kind of like contemplating what they just told him and the update of Priest, he's like thinking about it like, I guess I got to fight them 2-on-1. The camera pans and walks in Kushida, who says, if you need a partner, it's going to be Kushida.
This made me happy. Been missing this guy. He's added this kind of meaner streak to his game, and then once again wasn't on the takeover. If this is building to
what we think it means,
a Gargano Kushida match for the North American title at the next takeover,
book it.
I am all for that. That match sounds fantastic. Can't believe we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I want that. I'm happy.
I just really want to see that match.
Yeah.
So if this means we're taking a step forward into that direction, definitely.
I'm all for it.
I feel like that could even be your New Year's Evil.
I want it on a takeover. I think
Me too,
I think that should be a cracking takeover match. New Year's Evil, it looks like we've already got like a few matches set up already.
Yeah.
I'd hold it for the next takeover is just around the corner. I imagine if they're doing Rumble weekend.
Yeah, we're not sure yet, but as for now, like New Year's Evil's the thing. So I don't know. I could see them just booking it there. It is in a few weeks, but that's the best thing to come out of this episode is that we haven't seen Kushida and Gargano fight, and we've been wanting this for a while, and Gargano wasn't on the takeover again, so we need to kind of see that. There's a star in just waiting there to happen, but that sounds good. So Kushida and Leon Ruff versus the Garganos. The Way is what they're calling themselves.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. Are they allowed to just do that? They just watch something and they go, we should copyright that pretty quickly.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like us and our Back to the Future logo.
I was reading in the Young Bucks book, they were saying about the cease and desist about the hand gesture.
Apparently
lawyers told the Bucks, it's like, you can't copyright a gesture. Like, that's rubbish.
It's like Jay-Z and DDP.
But the Bucks were planning anyway to start dropping it and doing their own stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay.
We'll make money.
We'll make money off of this.
Dude, we didn't get a cease and assist for doing hand gestures, though, right?
No.
There is an ad for New Year's Evil, and they show the logo that Twitter's been going off about. It's like a little New Year's baby, but it's a devil because it's New Year's Evil. So I'm excited. I like this little logo. It looks funny. I like a little evil devil. Let me some.
Yeah, it's
devils.
got a kind of sort of Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
No, is it Looney Tunes?
Tasman,
More
Danny
like,
Devil.
yeah, Roger Rabbit, that kind of thing.
Yeah. We go to the main event of the evening. Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon. And right off the bat, Ember tries to hit Raquel with some of her like running or jumping codebreaker type moves, but Raquel stops all of them. But Ember reverses and slips out of a move and then running the ropes, but eventually gets dropped by another elbow. Ember's trying to just throw everything at Raquel, kind of like how NXT Creative was trying to just throw everything at the wall today on this episode. Ember's hitting drop kick after drop kick, single leg drop kicks, running at her with everything. But Raquel stops her in her tracks as we go to commercial, picture in picture, and it is all Raquel who's beating down on Ember. When we come back, Raquel has Ember in the gory special and just bending her back. I love the way Raquel has this move in her repertoire. The gory special is such an awesome move, and then obviously people drop them usually with the thing. She should definitely start doing that more often, like the gory bomb or was it Noshigami? Yeah, like that looks great. But the way she like bends people backwards with this submission is just fantastic. There's then Ember who finally gets out of it, runs the ropes to go jump like a running cross body, but in midair gets a boot to the gut, which just looks great. She sells it awesomely. Is that a word too? We're just making up
Awesomely?
I
think that's a word.
Should be. Jacked her. What is it? Jacked?
You made up something.
Yeah, I make words too. I am dyslexic as fuck. Ember comes back with this like superplex, but then turns it around into like just a standing suplex. I actually don't like this move. It's like you're gonna superplex someone, but then you turn it around that you just end up on the mat and then suplex them. It's like
right.
Well, you just stopped all the momentum from the top. But there's then a running satellite DDT by Ember Moon for a 2 count. They're then fighting on the outside, and since War Games, like they had these what do you call them, like scaffolding type, like giant like poles,
lighting rig, yeah,
so they're still here, and Ember decides to start climbing it, and as she climbs it up a little bit, jumps off of it, but Raquel catches her on her shoulders in like a power slam position, and then runs at the corner post on the outside like a snake eye, sending Ember flying headfirst into the post, quickly rolls her in to try to get the near fall, but Ember kicks out at 2. When they get to their feet, it's Ember who throws Raquel's shoulder first into the post now, and then runs at her with this crazy knee off the apron. Like
this looked awesome. Knee to the head looked really snug, but also sent Raquel's head just cracking against like the ring post. Looked really good.
Raquel's rocked by this, and then Eclipse time as Ember goes up to the top rope. She's going for it, but it's blocked, and then she's hit with a lariat that just cleans her clock. Raquel picks her up for the Texas Tornado Bomb. Ember gets out of that, hits a quesadora for a 2.9, but then Raquel just picks her up again. Texas Tornado Bomb, stacks her up, and Raquel pins Ember.
I actually thought this was a really good match. I was worried going into it because of all the other shenanigans that had happened on the show, and with the kind of Tony Storm Ember Moon feud, I was thinking that they were going to WWE it and just have Raquel win, but via a Tony interference. I'm glad they didn't do that. It's been a really strong week for Raquel Gonzalez, winning the Women's War Games and beating Ember Moon clean here. I thought it was a really good match. I thought both worked well. Raquel Gonzalez's stock just keeps raising for me. I see her being a real star in the company because you know WWE love their kind of monsters. They're big men, they're big women, and she is the best big woman they've ever had, I think. And there's so much stuff you can do with her on the main roster eventually. And I'm really pleased to see that she's got these wins here. And yeah, she to me is who should be the next contender. Absolutely.
Yeah, I imagine that's the New Year's Evil card is Raquel versus Io. I imagine is what they're going towards.
So New Year's Evil's what, 3
January
weeks
6th.
away?
Yeah.
2-3 weeks away?
Yeah, a few weeks away.
Yeah, you either do that or you do the Rhea rematch. Unless that's happening like next week or the week after.
Well, after this match, Tony Storm comes down to the ring.
Oh, it's 4 weeks away. Yeah, you probably do it there.
Toni Storm comes down to beat up Ember Moon, and she's like dancing and acting all weird. But then it's Rhea Ripley who comes down for the save, and it's Rhea and Raquel who have a stare down, and then Raquel exits the ring and walks off, leaving Rhea to just watch, staring at her like, I'm not finished with you. So I'm assuming some sort of tag match is what we're getting next week.
Yeah, a tag match and the eventual rematch of the singles. Again, for me, Rhea just doesn't particularly come across as a great babyface for me. Raquel Gonzalez won the War Games clean, won this clean. It kind of felt a bit like Damien Priest. It's like, back of the line, Rhea. But it was interesting to note that Raquel didn't join in with the beatdown. So I don't know if they're not making her a baby face, but having her play by the rules a bit more. They might be distancing her She won clean. They might be distancing her a bit from Dakota Kai going forward for this title run, this title match. But I enjoyed the match with Rhea first time round, so I'm not totally against seeing that again. The rest of the show kind of put a downer on this, but I did think it was a rather solid main event.
The main event was my favorite match from this episode, 100%. Like, the wrestling was there, the story made sense. Ember Moon is kind of an annoying character right now, but the wrestling is there. She's such a
she's
good
a great wrestler. Yeah, fantastic.
It's definitely the character that she needs to work on, and I guess that's going forward. Like, a losing here is fine. Like, she'll eventually work her way back up, but obviously the feud is going to be Toni and Ember, as well as some sort of side feud for TV going forward. But I like this main event, and I kind of just wanted to see this happen. I wanted to see Raquel hit her with the Texas Bomb and win this thing and stand tall and be like, yo, I am clearly the number one contender.
On a streak.
Yeah, like, let's go. I want to challenge Io, and that's exactly where we're going. So, for one thing, this actually made sense.
Yes.
Of all the things that happened, this actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, you win matches, you should be in the title picture. That's how hard is it? How hard is it to make things actually make sense?
Yeah.
It's some of this stuff baffles me. It's just crazy. So that was NXT. Obviously, we kind of thought it was a hangover edition of the show. Obviously, the War Games, like, right after that, people are out and injured and maybe need some rest and stuff. But it just felt like we're right back where we were, like, a month ago, where it's just kind of there. Unfortunately, especially after such a good show. I think a lot of people were pretty high on War Games, and then to just have this, and it's like, cool, Cross is back, but like, it's a little convoluted. It's a little like weird and cloudy of like, why is this not making sense and stuff. So, highlights: the main of Ember Moon and Raquel, and that making sense, and possibly getting Kushida Gargano in a few weeks.
Yes.
I think that's it.
Malcolm Bivens being back. Xia Li Boa. There we go.
Xia Li Boa is...
They're my positives. I enjoyed the tag. I did enjoy that tag match as well.
The tornado? More tornado tags in our wrestling is what you want. Yeah.
So let's see if we're just completely like misery guts here, and see if you agreed with us, or whether you enjoyed this show, because I hope you did. I want people to enjoy NXT, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. We go to Mystery on the forum.postwrestling.com. We put up feedback every week for NXT. He says he enjoyed tonight's episode of NXT quite a bit. More Rhea Raquel, yes please. Or Raquel will beat Rhea to get a shot at Io at New Year's Evil. That's what I think might happen, especially since Rhea's no good, awful 2020 is not over yet. Toni Storm getting throat punched by Io ruled, especially with Io's logic, which makes this storyline simple as can be, and simple is sometimes good. Io doesn't have a problem with Toni, she just doesn't like her. It's basic, but good enough to base a story on. I did not care about the majority of the men's stuff, but at least it's good that Karrion Kross is back. The Triad stuff went from interesting to one of the must-see parts of NXT after that backstage tonight. I think he means the Xia Li Boa, I imagine. No real question of the week, but this was a very solid episode of NXT, helped mainly by the women.
I'd say the standout parts were the women, definitely on this show, 100%. But it's NXT. We have the best women's roster, and
we do.
I love that women's War Games match. Chris from Pennsylvania, I was really impressed by the main event. Raquel and Ember had great chemistry and put on a really fun match. Nothing else really stood out in terms of in-ring tonight, but I feel like NXT did a good job of setting up their next storylines. The return of Cross immediately feels like a big deal, and I'm interested to see a match between him and Priest. Kushida possibly being set up as a challenger for Gargano would be a great direction, and I feel like we're either getting a Thatcher Champa alliance or a rematch in a fight pit. Sign me up for either. Yeah, both of those things sound good. Thatcher should beat Champa in the fight pit because it's his match, and then like they join forces and be a tag team or something. That's not a bad look. But what about Rust guy? He helped Thatcher, and Thatcher's like, I didn't tell him to do that, but clearly like he did, so I guess. But we'll see. Maybe Rust just hates Champa.
Maybe. We go to Eric from Michigan. Hi guys, first time commenting. Oh, wait a sec.
Whoa.
Is that a long time? First time, long time.
First time, long time.
It's been so long that I didn't know how to do it.
First time in a long time.
First time, long time. Love the great work you guys do. Thank you very much. Excellent opening to the show. It's really good to see Finn back tonight, and his promo was top notch. Thought the interplay between the possible competitors was quite good, and they all got some good verbal shots in at one another. I do love having the title picture heat back up with the trio of Kyle O'Reilly, Dunne, and Priest, all possibly in the mix. Of course, having Finn call out Cross and for him to show up was great as well. Thought they might tease the return out a bit longer, but why waste time, eh? Easy to overlook this match, but I also really enjoyed the competitiveness of Swerve Atlas. They're doing well balancing Atlas' lack of experience while building him up. If Swerve teasing a heel turn gets him more on-screen time, so be it. Women's division continues to shine, top to bottom. While I don't need Raquel Gonzalez again, their last match was so good, why not? Gonzalez continues to improve, and I think getting her up against EO will deliver as well. Cheers, E.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, and we go to our last one here. Crooked Letter 9. It took only one segment to reset the main event scene with Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, and a little later on Karrion Kross, each laying claim to the title. I was on edge when Scarlett came out to confront Balor. The matches tonight were strong with Ember Moon and Raquel Gonzalez in the main event, with the latter winning clean as a whistle. Gargano's celebration promo was hilarious stuff with his new faction. Austin Theory being the lunkhead could have potential. The three-way tag match went a little long to refocus the tag team scene. Went a long way to refocus the team, he means. The Xia Li Boa storyline continues to be intriguing. A notable lack of star power with the UE, Dakota Kai, and Shotzi still reeling from War Games. Solid stuff all around.
So it seems like we were in the minority there. A lot of you guys seem to enjoy that, and that's fine. Maybe I think Harley Race put me in a bad mood the other day.
You just hate wrestling.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I've just realised I'm completely doing the wrong thing.
We watched too much of this stuff.
But no, that's awesome. You guys enjoyed it. Maybe we're wrong. Who knows?
Hey,
it's opinions.
There's no right or wrong.
There is no right or wrong. But that's what we thought, and that's what you thought.
It's like when you pick Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2. There's no real wrong.
They're both fun.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. That was NXT. We thank you for listening and for the feedback there as well. Forum.postwrestling.com is where you can post that. We will be back next week. Yes, we'll still talk NXT even if we don't like it because we are your NXT friends. And it'll keep getting better. The struggle, I believe in NXT. They will pick it up. Maybe if we're being so negative, things will change. I really don't. I hope they do. I just want to go see Shaq and Snoop Dogg on that other show.
Have you just given me spoilers?
No. They announced to go up against NXT in a few weeks.
Okay.
There's an announcement that is happening. So looking forward to that.
Am I gonna have to ban you from the Twitch?
I heard John Pollock's interview with Morrow, which was fantastic, and him praising the Snoop Dogg Mike Tyson thing was incredible to listen to. But there's also some NXT talk from Morrow there that I guess you could read between the lines of what he was saying. I'll just tell you to go listen to that instead of telling you.
Oh, it was a great interview. Oh, yeah, really good
fantastic.
Interview.
Shots were fired-ish type, kind of, sort of, maybe?
I don't think so. No, not shots fired. Just honesty.
Just honesty. Like just our honesty on today's episode.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening. At upNXT Podcast on Twitter and Instagram is where you can find us for all the updates of all the stuff, including when we go live, and we randomly go live sometimes, and all that stuff. And watch along for Triple Mania Saturday. Twitch.tv/upNXT. Come hang out and watch some lucha men and some luchadors and superheroes. We were talking about Spider-Man when we didn't even realize Marvel this weekend. Thanos and Venom are teaming up. Literally.
Right.
This is actually happening. Marvel, an official crossover with AAA. Can't wait for that. So we'll be doing a show on that as well, because why not? We're stuck inside and we're bored. Thank you for listening and supporting. Patreon.com/upNXT. North American tier, $5, and gets you access to all the shows we've done. Every show we're talking about is available through that tier, and it's only $5 to access everything we've done. Every What's Next, Best Match Ever, movie reviews. Sorry, reviews from the 6th.
Reviews from the 6th.
December to Dismember. Maybe it was that broke you. Maybe you're done after watching that.
Is it that?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Could have been. You saw Kevin Thorne and Ariel, and you were done.
Yeah,
you were absolutely done.
Maybe.
Thank you for listening and supporting us.
And we've got a little tradition here at UpNXT. So, YouTube room, let's pour one out.
Oh, yeah.
Pour one out to the YouTube room. We're Twitchers now. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I myself, Braden Herrington. I am on Twitter, Instagram, @TheBrady.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And something Milky Way.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.